Hello and welcome to Dreamcrafter Creations. My name is Debbie. I am also known as Nana, and this is my channel where I like to share all the things I make and share with you different patterns and crochet alongs and knit alongs that I find and all types of fiber arts. And if you are new here, welcome. This video is the last video of a crochet along I've been doing for a Bear-in-a-Box, and if you've been following me and watching me, this is the final reveal. So again, thank you for coming, and if you like this video and what I'm all about, please subscribe and consider a thumbs up, and I hope to see you back soon. But today, here is the box. I decided, I know in the previous videos for these this Bear-in-a-Box, I showed you two other boxes that I was thinking of using, but going with the let me get this theme that I had told you from one of these little trinket boxes I received from Twice Shared Sheep, I really wanted to do a honey bear picnic theme. So I thought these look like picnic baskets. This is from Amazon, and they're two different sizes. I will show you the other size in a few minutes. But to get started, let's go through and see how I created my Bear-in-a-Box. And because this 4th week item, the bunting, this is all crocheted, was glued on here. I had to glue it on here. So you'll see one of the 4th weeks at the beginning here. But in any event, let me see if I can get this back so you can see everything. And the first week was to make the bear itself. And she has the embroidered eyes. And I did decide to go with a girl theme, and her name is Honey Bear. But before I put her in, let me show you what came up the 2nd week. So the 2nd week was her bedding, and it was just all crocheted, and I just did it for as long as I thought would fit her the best, and put a little quilting batting inside, and that would go right here. However, we also were to make a granny square blanket of our choice, and I decided to go with the theme from the tin that looked like the blue checked blanket that the bear was on. And that was my first thought, that that was going to be the blanket. Okay, but after making it and putting everything together, I have decided that's going to be more of a rug, like underneath. And I'm still going to put the bedding here. And in that 2nd week, we also had a pillow. And this was my pillow, and I embroidered a little buzzing bee around. So that will also be considered an extra in this crochet along. Because as I told you, I'm going to put this a little farther over so you can see the pillow. As I told you, she gave out all different patterns, free patterns for the 4 weeks, that we didn't have to do everything in the patterns, but at least one thing, and then we could throw in any other little extras that we wanted, and there'll be 2 drawings. So if you just did it without extras, there's a drawing for that, or if you put in the extras, there'll be a drawing for that. So that embroidery, I believe, will be considered an extra. Let me see if I can get you a little closer. So that's, whoops, that's how that's looking. And that's the rug. So I made that a rug. And in that week also, we had a throw pillow, which was this sun, and it has embroidered eyes, but she did put the embroidery on that. And then the last one was to have this little buzzing bee. And I think I may have showed you this in the last video. I'm not sure. But anyways, here it is again, the little buzzing bee, and I consider this her friend. Honeybee's friend. So we're going to put her here for now. So that was 2nd week. Now 3rd week, we were given instructions to do different types of clothing, and I picked, she had you could do 2 dresses, a pair of pants, shoes, and I believe there was 2 types of shirts, 2 types of sweaters. But like I said, you only have to do one. So at this point, and I will probably do more, I just did this really cute dress, sundress, and I did put that Lazy Daisy embroidery on it myself. So that is also, I think, considered a little extra. But let me get her dressed. I'll be right back. So here she is, all dressed in her little sundress with her Lazy Daisy embroidery, and it just ties on the back around her neck. And I just didn't want to sit here, you know, getting her dressed, because that takes a minute or so to get on. But that's how she came out. And I did one other little accessory. I did a little daisy type flower and just made a headband. So that I'm going to do like this, and that is also considered a little extra. I thought she should have a daisy in her hair because a lot of this here has like little daisies on it, and I wanted to keep in the theme. So we're going to sit her. I'm going to sit her right here in the corner, and I think I'm going to have her underneath Honey Bear's arm, because this is her friend. Honey Bear and the bee are friends. Oops. Okay. Gotta put my pillow back up. There's a whole theme to this thing. So, anyways, this is how we're looking so far. So that was week 3. Now the following week was week 4, and this was all these teeny little accessories. And this is when I also incorporated my extras. So first, let me show you. So we have some plates. Let me show them to you like this. So we have some plates, and they're just little crocheted plates. Okay, and there's 2 that she had in the pattern. And then to put on the plates, we had a couple of pieces of toast. See if you can see that. Do you see? 2 little pieces of toast. Yep, they were teeny weeny teeny. So those go in those plates. And one of the toasts has, I have some grape jelly. And the other is an egg on toast. Yep, teeny weeny weeny. So I actually really enjoyed making these. So this is what she will have at her picnic. And to do her picnic, I decided to use the box, and we're going to put that right in front of her, right there. And one of the extras I made was this little crocheted tabletop blanket or tablecloth. So we're going to put that in there. So she has her little table, and on her little table, we're going to put her toast and jam and her toast and egg. And my little son keeps falling. So the next thing they gave us was a little cup of cocoa. But I decided, because she's a honey bear, she's doing tea and honey. So this is the little cup I had to make, and it has the tea with a dollop of honey on it. And that will go on her hand, and she will hold her cup of tea right there. Now this is going to get a little tricky, but I will get it done. So the other thing she had us made was a piece of cake. And here's my cake, and I did white frosting, I made it chocolate. And on that cake, for that cake, I made a serving tray. I kind of had to modify that design a little bit so that I could put the cake would be on a serving plate. And I didn't have anything for a pedestal, which I would have liked because I believe that's what she did. But I didn't. And that's going to be right next to her here because she's has all her food together. And that was everything that was in the patterns to make, plus the blanket for the table, the embroidery, and the headband, which was extra. The other extra I made, I had to have a pot of honey because that's where the the honey for the tea came from. So we'll put that right there. And have her little honey for the tea. I put a little crochet on the top of it. Let me show you again a little closer. There we are. I painted that. I had a little wood something. I painted that, and that's going to go back here. So this is what we have so far. And so because I wanted to use the crocheted blanket as the rug or picnic blanket, I had to make another blanket, which I took. I had a quilt scraps that was pretty much already made up in the 2-inch squares, and I did a 9-patch, and it came out like this. And it doesn't necessarily match the theme I have going here, so I backed it with this yellow, which I thought was pretty neutral. So this will be the blanket for the bed. So here is my version of a bear in a basket. And this was really fun. I really had a good time making this. I don't know what it is, but making amigurumi or any type of knit toys just brings me a lot of joy. And this bear in a basket is going to live at Nana's house because I really feel like there's a lot of teeny little pieces, and it has to, I want it to stay all together, and the kids are so small now that that's almost impossible when they're playing with toys. So the bear in the basket, Honey Bear, is going to live at Nana's house for now. But I am going to add to the project, and I want to show you that. So what I'm going to do is, this is the larger size basket that it came with, and that basket fits right inside it. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few more bears because I'm going to need at least 6 or 7 of them for all the kids because they don't take long, and I want them all to have their own little play space. But for now, once I get to the other 2, I think what I'll do is I'll have 2 beds, a rug, we'll do quilts, and hopefully I can maybe look on the internet and find other little food I could make. I mean, there's endless possibilities to what you can do with, these boxes and fill them with a bear. I also have some mice patterns that are very small that reminded me of the Maylig mice. I don't know if you've ever heard of those, but Maylig is like little dollhouse mice, and they have a lot of adventures going on. So I thought one day I would do a lot of stuff like that for the kids. So in time, and when I get to it, I will definitely show you all that. But right now, here is my bear in the basket. And I'll give you an idea of just some of the yarns I used. This was all stash yarns, and they were DK weight, I believe, with a 2.5 millimeter crochet hook. I just used that throughout the whole entire project. But the 2 types of yarns, 3 types actually that I used, 1 minute, were a Debbie Bliss baby cashmerino, which that type of yarn, I don't have the yarn color, but was for the dress and the rug, the checkerboard rug, and I think that was it. And the strap on her headband. So the beige yarn for the bear was a paint box, cotton DK. There's the label. And again, these were all stash yarns because I've made toys in the past, and I wanted to have all these different colors to make clothes, and this just came in so, what's the word? convenient. I don't know. It just worked out so well to have all this in my stash because I could just pick and choose what I wanted to use here. And then the only other little yarns I used, and I got these in a little pack, I believe, let me get, okay. When I was doing amigurumi, when I was ordering these, I was reluctant to look at the size, and when they came, they were these teeny little skeins. They're called Katia amigurumi, 100% cotton. You know, it's probably about a DK as well. So I just had, and I keep them right here in this Ziploc bag. I had a bunch of different colors, and I just picked from here what I wanted. So that's all the different types of yarns I used. It was all stash, which made me very happy. And that's it. There's really nothing more to say about the bear in the box. And I hope you enjoyed seeing the process of Honey Bear being made. And of course, if I decide to make some other bears, which I will in the future, you will definitely hear about them. So until next time, I'm going to be working on my vintage flannel knitting sweater that I showed back in the retreat video. I have been having a little bit tough of a time with that. I don't know why. I think it's just been a matter of concentration. And so I do want to really focus on that, and I will be bringing you my progress on that in probably the next videos. So until then, I hope you come back. I hope you consider liking and subscribing and learning about different patterns I do, crochet alongs, knit alongs, and different festivals and retreats I go to. So for now, see you later.